You're going to want to hear this about JFK's assassination. So let's start with this real fast. What got you into astrology?
Well, as a very young little girl, I was around when Kennedy came to Dallas, live in Dallas. And what happened was I was watching TV the night before he came, November 21st, 1963. And on my black and white TV came a woman who begged Kennedy not to come to Dallas.
Time out. So on TV,
Yes,
you as a little girl,
I saw it.
you saw a woman
Yes.
the day before he was assassinated that said what?
She begged him not to go to Dallas or he would be assassinated.
Wow.
I know. And I'll never forget that because my mother went to the airport to greet Kennedy with my sisters. I was too young. And of course, the unthinkable happened within 30 minutes after she shook his hand. And I never forgot that. I always wondered, how did that woman know that? She was an astrologer. And my mother had all the astrology books around the house because we were the same sun sign. So I started reading at a very early age. And I was like, how can these books depict my personality, know who I am? And how did that woman know? And the burning question in me is, what if he listened to her? Wouldn't it be a different world?
Yeah.
And do we have the free will? Can we prevent things? And that's what got me into astrology because I believe we can. And that's what I do this work for.
I'm excited about this conversation because to me, astrology is one of the foundation pieces of someone really understanding who they are. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Astrology is the divine science. And in that, it really does encompass all of the sciences. And many people don't realize it is a science. It takes a lot of understanding of math. Astrology is astronomy taken down to earth and applied to our lives. And it can be used for just about anything and everything. But most of all, the most important thing I think it's used for is for self-awareness. Understanding who you are, what you're here for, but most of all, it can give you the timing for when you know things are supposed to happen. So you use it. I want to say it's a study of cycles because so much about our life is cyclic and humanity. And when you look and read the stars, you can truly understand these cycles as to, I always talk about the cycles that I predicted COVID was coming because I went back to every time the nodes, which is something we use in astrology, the nodes Rahu, Ketu. And by the way, the astrology that I do is from India.
Okay.
Because I did Western astrology for 20 years. That's what you're more familiar with, tropical Western. But I discovered Vedic astrology from India was more significant and important.
So why is that? What's the difference?
The difference is it takes into account the shifting of the stars. The stars have been moving, always. They move backwards very slowly. And over a long period of time, as a matter of fact, 2,000 years, the zodiacs used to align 2,000 years ago, but now it's shifted where the stars, which are the constellations, the signs, they've shifted backwards almost a full sign. So the difference is your signs have changed and everything's constantly changing. It's based on the stars. And it's called the nakshatras in India that they use for the lunar mansions, which are groupings of stars. And these groupings of stars will tell you where all your planets are and predict so much more accurately. So I was getting back to the reason why I brought this up, what we call Rahu and Ketu, which are the nodes of the moon. I don't want to get too technical with you, but these points in space cause eclipses. And these points in space, as we watch the nodes move, they take 18 and a half years to go through all 12 signs of the zodiac. And with this, if we go back each time that they were in a particular sign, something catastrophic has always happened in the world. So I was going back from September 11th, and that was catastrophic. 18 and a half years later, after September 11th, we had COVID. I knew it was coming. But if I went back 18 and a half years prior to September 11th, then that would take us to about 1982. We had the AIDS virus. Then we go back 18 and a half years prior to that. It was 1963, Kennedy assassination. Then we go back 18 and a half years from that, and it was 1945, and that was the bombing of Hiroshima, and so on. So these cycles,
Wow.
when we watch them, we can actually predict and know the trends of what's going to be going on in the world, as well as for yourself. You got to admit there's certain times in your life when it's time to pull back, as well as time to move forward. So I always tell people it's like a weather forecast. Wouldn't you want to know when things are going to predict such things as you need an umbrella for that day, or maybe pull back? Or this is the day for you to move forward and take advantage of the energies. These are energies and cycles. That's basically what I see astrology as being.
I love that. It's really interesting because two things. Number one, I remember before I started this journey, I had been told and convinced that astrology was evil.
Yeah.
Or it was bad.
Right.
And yet, something inside of me, every time that I would see, my sign or what was going on, it was like, hey, that's me.
Yes.
And it resonated with me, right?
Yes.
And I believe one of the reasons why we're told that astrology is bad or evil is to actually keep us from discovering who we are and what our purpose is.
You got it.
And so my question for you is, if someone's out there, the beauty of the show and our audience is, after so many episodes, like we've built trust with our audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're out there for the first time and they're saying, okay, like, what's all this all about? How can someone use astrology to help identify not only who they are, like what does that mean, and what their purpose is?
Absolutely. I have so many people that ask me, what is my purpose? And in astrology, you most definitely can see that. So when people align with their purpose, then things go smoothly. And then they realize this is my gift. This is my talent. We all have certain gifts and talents. We all have a certain destiny of what path we're supposed to take. And with astrology, you can streamline it. It's not like you're going to waste time anymore.
Simple
you're going
as
to
that.
know what you need to be doing. And it feels right and everything flows in that direction.
So I've recently been obsessed with learning about supplements because I found out all of the shady tactics that happen in the industry, like how natural flavors are far from natural, or get this, how some vitamins are derived from GMO corn syrup. I know, it's disgusting. This is why it's so important to trust the company you buy your supplements from, and there's only one company on planet Earth I trust, and that's Kono. I've never seen a higher standard in the industry where literally every single ingredient is ethically sourced with intention. I've been absolutely loving their full body hydrate product. It's the most comprehensive and I think best tasting electrolyte on the planet. It helps my brain function. I feel like it's helping my skin. I feel more hydrated, and overall, I just feel incredible throughout the day when I drink it. But all in all, guys, all of their supplements are incredible. I'm passionate about sharing them with you guys because these guys have your health at heart. Check them out at kononutrition.com/Danny and get 10% off your order. Again, that's kononutrition.com/Danny for 10% off your order.
So I love this. I obviously know how this works, but if someone has never done this before and someone is open to doing this, like what do you need? What information do you need from me in order for you to give back to me, like what it is that I'm looking for?
Okay, very, very good question. We need, of course, your birthday, your birth year, your birthplace, and your time of birth. And many people can't find their time of birth. And what I do know is if you were born in the United States, it's been recorded. And most people, when they ask for their birth certificate, they won't send you the one with the time on it. You have to specify that you want the original with the time on it. But once we have your birth time, then we can calculate your chart and see what you're all about. But aside from that, I did take the liberty, I hope you don't mind, to look up your birthday.
Oh, no. Okay.
And
By the way, I have a very unique birthday. It's 6677.
Yes, I know. So June 6th, it was on your website, so I couldn't help but take a glance. Because even though I don't have a birth time, on your birthday, I look to where your moon is. And of course, what I'm talking about, though, is the sidereal Vedic chart, which the signs change. But they are actually, this is why I think it's so much more significant and specific with prediction, is that when you look at the Vedic chart, it is exactly what astronomers are saying in the sky. So it is accurate according to astronomical or astronomy, whereas Western is actually off by almost a full sign. It's inaccurate.
Wow.
Because the stars are moving and the stars constitute the signs. So when we're looking at a chart, we're looking at the planets, where they are on your birthday, time and place, what signs they're in. And of course, with the signs, we start looking at the angles of all the planets. You know, you've probably heard conjunctions, squares, oppositions. We look at all of that, and they sit in particular houses in your horoscope. The houses are your area of life. And this tells me about everything past, present, and future in your life. And by the way, you've got a good year.
Oh, yeah? Well, tell me about that.
Okay, because I looked and something significant for your career and opportunities happened in August. And something's going to come of it in early December.
Of this year?
Yes. Yes. In early December, it's going to start to really manifest.
I got married.
I saw that. I am not kidding you.
I got married in August.
Wow.
And to me, it felt like Jen and I coming together, our energy, it was the spark.
I got some news for you.
Tell me.
Well, I don't know how you're going to take this.
I'll take it how we're going.
All right. Children.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a child.
Yeah, I know.
Very soon.
And I know it's a boy. Yeah.
It is. It is. You're
I know
right.
It's a boy.
Because from your moon, the sun goes to the 5th house. The 5th house is children. Jupiter is on your sun, which is male energy.
Male energy.
It's a boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I tell you why I knew it was a boy?
Tell me.
Well, first off, I was told, see, this is why I'm so passionate about this stuff, guys, because you have no idea what's available to you. There's so much available to you, right?
It's true.
It's so true. And it's so exciting.
It is.
And it makes life less challenging and less stressful when you finally understand what your purpose is and why you're going through what you're going through right now.
Exactly. And you know, another thing, I have to say this. When I'm doing a reading and I see somebody going through a really rough time, I'm able to tell them when it's going to be over.
That's right.
That is like huge for people. They're like, okay, I can get through this if I know it's going to be over within 6 months.
Yeah.
Or a year. And then I look forward because, like you say, we go through certain experiences for certain reasons. Everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
And astrology, we can understand that reason. And it's easy to handle when you know why you're going through it and when it's going to be over.
That's right. I love that. I love that. So then you grab this information.
Yes.
And then you give them a report of like their life.
Yes.
Right.
We call it a reading.
A reading. Okay. I remember when I did this is true. Some of you, this might scare you, but I remember when I did this 3 years ago or so, the person who did it for me was like, you see this star being right here, I could have basically guaranteed you that you were going to go through a divorce.
Yeah.
It was like in the cards, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes it's like, it's so awesome to know. For me, it was very healing because at that time I was still carrying a lot of guilt about like my divorce.
Yes.
It was like really awesome to know like, okay, so this was going to happen. So then I could detach myself from any negative energy that I have
Right.
to what happened. And I
Right.
think that's another benefit of knowing your astrology chart, is that sometimes you've gone through things that you were supposed to go through in order for your spiritual and physical evolution.
Absolutely.
So you can look at it differently.
And everything is about our spiritual evolution. That's my knowing and belief. That's why we're here. And the astrology will give you what it's all about. I look at a chart, and you probably are with me on this belief about reincarnation.
This is not a belief, it's a fact.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So, and of course, the astrology from India takes that in, which is Vedic.
Right.
And I look at your chart as a sum accumulation of everything you've ever been in all of your lifetimes. And when you look at a chart, you carry with yourself all the karmas that you're here to work through and learn. So, if your chart says you have difficulty in relationships, which I did see, because you've already gone through that.
I do, yeah.
Yes. And with that, you brought that situation from a past life to learn from so that you could heal it. So in the next lifetimes, you don't have to go through it anymore.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
in a chart, you can see what a person is working on in healing. Now, just because it says difficulty in relationships, it doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever, but you had to go through something to learn so that you healed it. And so now in all your future lifetimes, hopefully there's not that many, you're going to be dealing with good relationships because you healed it. And that's what the chart tells you, what needs to be healed. And I do believe in free will. Not everything is etched in stone.
Sure.
So when we see the chart, what needs to be worked on, what needs to be healed, then this is the most important thing for you to focus in on, because then those karmas disappear. And then we have another layer probably of other karmas, but hopefully it's all in essence to grow on a spiritual level.
I love that.
That's what we've come here to do.
I love that. So it's literally like a roadmap.
Exactly.
So it's like,
you nailed
guys,
it.
this is what drives me crazy with our beliefs that keep us from these tools that are here for us, right?
Yes.
It's like, if you're listening to why the hang up?
Right.
Why? And I'm going to tell you why. Typically, the hang up with astrology is because it goes against our religious belief. But hear me, what I'm about to tell you. If what we're saying is true, then this is literally the roadmap to your life, to your spiritual evolution. Then maybe, just maybe, the religious belief is the thing that is keeping you from your spiritual evolution.
But let me say this. Did you know that all the popes used to use astrologers?
Really?
Yes.
See, but they won't tell the public that.
Yes, but this was many years ago. And did you know this, that the Vatican has the largest archive of astrological books in the world?
I can bet you they do, and I can bet you it is locked so that no one can see it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, the more and more of you that go get your astrology charts read and done, the more and more of you that are free.
Exactly.
The more and more of you that are not living life in stress, the more and more of you that are free to become the highest version of yourself.
That's it.
That's the whole thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Oh, I'm fired up.
Yeah, you need to study astrology with me.
I'm gonna study. As a matter of fact, when this is over, I want my whole chart. I'm gonna give you my birth time. We're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this.
Yeah. So tell me this, Joni. So then, where are we? Because it's us as an individual. And then where are we as a collective right now?
Oh, that's excellent, because, there's all these different cycles for humanity. And actually, this is what Vedic astrology is based on, the precession of the equinoxes, where it takes 26,000 years for the development of humanity, for it to go through all 12 signs. And this is the movement of the stars, the precession. And so where we are right now, actually, it's kind of depressing, because 2,000 years ago was the darkest time for humanity. And in this 26,000 year precessional cycle, it takes, first of all, About 2,400 years for each sign. So when you do this whole cycle, it's going to take, right now, let me just put it this way. It's like a circular chart, right? So there's a point where it comes to its culmination, just like the waxing and waning moon. And then it goes back down to the darkest time again.
Mm.
So halfway through, we're 2,000 years going forward to about the 12,000 year mark or 13,000 year mark, where it's going to be the highest level of evolution on planet Earth.
Wow.
So we've got 10,000 more years to go till we come to the highest level of consciousness on planet Earth. And of course, there's the yugas, like people say we're in the Kali Yuga, or we just left the Kali Yuga. The yugas are also depictive of humanity, what level of consciousness. And the Kali Yuga that we've just pretty much left is the darkest as well. So that's why we still have people killing each other. We still have wars. This shouldn't be. That's not the way humanity should be, but we're still at that dark level. So does that kind of answer your question?
It does. And would it be safe to say that the more of us that come online, the more of us that awaken, the more of us that know the truth, which is that tools like astrology are not evil. It's actually the fabric of life.
Right.
It's how you are connected to everything.
Exactly.
Right? That the more of our spiritual gifts come online, and the more that our healing takes place, and the more that the spiritual gifts and the healing of humanity starts to take place.
Absolutely.
Because that's what I see happening right now as well.
And I do see that as well. People are waking up. I've been talking about that on all my YouTubes. Everyone's starting to wake up now.
Yeah.
And some people are very afraid to wake up, though.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's what will happen because, as you know, when you know the truth, it heals.
That's right.
And we have to know what the truth is in order to heal things.
Absolutely.
And astrology gives us this truth.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. You know, when you just said that, I thought about the body.
Yes.
And I thought about, listen to this, guys. If you think about this, like all of these illnesses that many humans deal with, whether it's like cancer or disease or anything, like your body shouldn't have any of that.
Right.
If it does, it's the body giving you a signal that something is emotionally wrong inside.
Absolutely.
And I'm sitting here thinking how, like, astrology, you know, human design, plant medicine, like all of these things are tools to help us to ensure that we remove all of these negative vibrations and frequencies and emotions inside of us so that we could live longer lives.
Absolutely.
Free of illness and disease.
Well, let me tell you something about the energy centers in the body and how they relate to the planets. Because in our body, you know, we have the chakras.
Yep.
And each of these chakras are relative to a glandular system in the body, right? The throat chakra, for example, it deals with the thyroid. Each chakra is associated with a glandular system. And in astrology, you have your own sort of like universe or solar system within you, starting from Saturn at the root chakra, moving up to the moon, from the slowest to the fastest moving planet, our little solar system. And so when you look at a chart, if you have an afflicted Saturn, in other words, Saturn's aspected by negative planets or in a difficult house, that means your chakra for Saturn is going to give you problems health-wise.
That's right.
So when you go to each one, so it's Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, which is the heart, love, and the throat chakra, which is Mercury, communications, as well as when we get here to the third eye, which is going to be where the sun is and the moon. This is the Vedic system from the slowest to the fastest moving planet.
Wow.
And in your chart, you can see if those chakras are afflicted. In other words, that's the one you need to heal and work on.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wild to me how everything is connected.
We're all connected.
I love
you
that.
got it. You
I
are
love
so
that.
wise. You just understand exactly before I say something.
Well, I get it because just last night I got a download. I got a message like, it's like a lot of men get like prostate cancer. This is a true story. This happened during my awakening. I started noticing that like a lot of the people that were dying from cancer, they had some sort of an emotional illness or an emotional trauma within them associated to the body part where the cancer was coming. In this case, my friend that died of prostate cancer, he confided in me that he was sexually molested as a little boy. And so this is why like I have such deep passion over helping people heal from their sexual trauma, and in many ways, you don't know this, but at Awaken, we help both men and women, like for the first time, speak out about their sexual trauma, right? And on the flip side, think about how many men have inflicted sexual trauma on a woman. I can guarantee you, if you haven't dealt with that and if you haven't healed that, get ready, because something's going to happen, because your body knows that you caused pain to somebody like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is all part of the healing, the physical, the emotional, spiritual.
That's right.
And astrology can be used for all of this. There's medical astrology. There's so many things. And what people don't realize is you can actually draw up a chart for a question. Let's say you want to know if something's going to be successful. If you do a chart for that time that you ask that question, you can see the outcome.
Really?
There's so many.
I want to get my chart done right now. I love it.
There's so many uses for it.
Yeah.
People don't realize, and then I love Vedic astrology because it's spiritual. It talks more to the spirit. And did you know that the oldest reference to astrology comes from the Vedas, which is the ancient Indian scriptures? And it talks about the nakshatras, which is what we use in Vedic astrology. And I know that's very technical, but I just wanted you to know that this goes way back to the ancient Vedas, the spiritual essence of what the planets and how we're all connected.
I love
and
that.
We're all one.
Yeah, we are.
We are.
In order to not miss these episodes or the weekly clips that we provide that will help you in the 3 energies of human mastery, how to change your financial life, how to change your relationship life, and how to heal yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually, make sure to subscribe right now to the channel. Trust me, it'll be the greatest decision and action you take today, because the value we are committed to bringing you is going to be life-changing. Go ahead and subscribe right now.
Let's have some fun now.
Okay.
Maybe, certain people out there, want a little bit more proof, right? So could you pick like someone that everybody would know? And could you tell us a little bit about their chart and what it says and how it could potentially correlate to like the life that they're living?
Okay. Yeah.
A celebrity, a popular person, anybody.
All right. So you want me not to tell you who it is?
No, who you just whoever.
I do YouTubes on celebrities.
You do?
And yes.
Okay.
And one that I just did that I think's really interesting is Elon Musk.
Okay.
Yes, because what I think about Elon Musk is, everybody thinks him as a scientist. And what's interesting to me about his chart, he has the same thing that Albert Einstein has in his chart.
He's a genius.
Exactly.
I knew that. Yeah.
He has Mars and Rahu in the 8th house of investigation, research, and science. Both Einstein and Elon Musk have Mars, Rahu in the 8th house, which is their brilliance and their depth to have to understand things. But what I really like about his chart, we don't know about this yet, but what I see happening is him coming up for cures with disease. Wow. Because he's got the Jupiter-Neptune of healing and disease together in his chart. So what he's going to start doing in the future is working on disease and healing it, and probably dealing with longevity for us all. So
I love that.
That's
really powerful.
That's a fun one that I really enjoy talking about.
Okay. Where do people go to learn more about astrology, to get their charts done?
Okay.
Listen, if you are listening to me right now, please drop what you're doing. I'm telling you, I've done this before. I'm going to do it again as soon as the camera turns off. Where do we send them? How does this work?
Well, I do readings for people
Okay.
personally. The galacticcenter.org is my website.
Okay.
But for people that want to get this done and know what's going on in their chart personally, for every day, I just started something very exciting called the Galactic Planner. And the Galactic Planner, it's galacticplanner.com. You go in and you put all your details in the computer. It will calculate your chart and it will give you predictions every day, and it downloads into your personal calendar, where when you opened up your calendar, you know exactly what each day is going to be good for.
Wow.
And I've written all the translations, which were many thousands of translations, such as Jupiter in the 5th house, aspecting the moon. I've written all of that, just like what I just did for you, because Jupiter's on your sun in the 5th house from your moon, which is children. It's coming. And the sun is a boy. You're so intuitive.
Yeah.
But this is something that people can do for themselves right away. We've just launched this and we've been working with so many people. The first month's free, so people get to try it out and see if they like it.
And so where do they go again?
Galacticplanner.com.
Galacticplanner.com. Do we have a code for them or anything like that?
Wait, we're going to give you a code.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
So you're going to all your people are going to get a code.
So type in higher self. I'm sure that'll give you some free goodies or something.
Absolutely.
Please take care of them.
Yes.
And I cannot wait. Do me a favor. Once you go and get your chart done, come back on YouTube. And I want you in this video, in the comments, because I love nothing more than to see people like get it. I want to know, what did you learn about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to personally watch. I'll comment. Like it's why I do the show. I do the show for moments like this where we can give them actual tools that they can use to change their life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm excited about it because my whole goal is to make astrology mainstream. I think it needs to be mainstream.
I think it does too.
I always say, back in the 70s when I used to do yoga, people would laugh at me and say, that is the weirdest thing, Joni. I can't believe you're doing. What is this? Yoga? Is it part of the devil? Now it's on every street corner. Yoga. Astrology should be the same thing.
I love that. You know what? I want to help you with that.
Good.
Yeah, I want to help you with that. Good. I have some ideas.
All right.
For sure.
I'm open.
I love it. I love that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah. And so don't forget, go to
Galactic Planner.
Galacticplanner.com and use the code higher self.
That's it.
And we will see you on next week's episode of the Higher Self. And don't forget, comment on YouTube. I just want to know what you learned about yourself. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.